So then we are nearly finished with the first version, the brand new lantern, and after that we will destroy it. But before I end this session or start with destroying the material, I would like to add just one or two few more things. So the first thing I will add is material on the ground. So I select the ground here by just clicking outside, and then I go to the material properties here and select new, and I can just write ground material. And I will not change it so much. We don't have like an environment or so on. It's only white, and it will be like white in the end as well. It's more like principle here. It's good for many things, but I would like to have some other shader in here. So I select the principle, and be sure that you don't select both, just the principle, so we keep the material output, and then press delete. And now everything is black, but we will change that by pressing Shift A, a new shader, and that will be velvet. And I put in velvet here. And it could be so that you don't see so much of a difference, but velvet is great in that way that it softens all the reflections. So all the reflections that comes to the velvet will be much weaker when it then bounces back again to the object. So in that case, we reduces the risk of getting bad reflection with fireflies and so on. And we also get a softer image. So I like to have velvet in these cases when we're working with highly reflective things like glass and metallic. I can also change the color just slightly to more yellow tone like this. Don't have to do it, it's just personal. I feel it looks much nicer like this. Now it was too much green. Bit picky here, should not be it, because it always takes time to do things correct. Okay, now we have that, and the next thing is to go to our render properties and see, so we have a render of at least 512 to get rid of most of the noise around the glass. We can of course increase that even more to get even less noise, but I think 512 will work in this case. There's a lot of ways to reduce noise using adaptive sampling, denoising, and a lot of other stuff. I don't recommend it when working with realistic things. If you go really close to realistic things, you would like to see all those small bumps and so on. And if you use denoising here, the risk of taking away all those bumps that we have done, that is like really small here, is great, because that will try to smoothen everything out, and it will see this as noise, even if it's not noise, it's bumps, and it's our bumps, and we want them to be there. So do not press denoising here. In some cases you can press adaptive sampling, because what adaptive sampling is doing is not changing anything here. It's just comparing the last rendering with the next render samples. And if those two samples are exactly the same, it stops rendering, so we don't render the same piece over and over and over again. However, I've noticed if I work with highly reflective areas or with subsurface scattering and so on, the result is not that great all the time. So I will keep that out as well and just use the normal render sample. And I think, as I said, 512 will be okay to show you the complete flow. So right now I just press F12, and then I'll just wait a bit, or I will just see, so I named that one, so I can take this material. We don't want this to be material. We change that name as well. I had a slight hunch that I forgot that earlier, so that is why I go into this now. Material, I will call that just the color of metal, perhaps the color of lantern. So we have something, so we know what it is. Okay, so now we have that, we have everything in, and it's just for me to press F12 to get render. and you can do so as well. And we see you after I'm finished with this render here. Okay, so now my render is finished and it looks okay when it comes to being something that is resembled that reference image that we have. However, we have some noise here, even if I run in 512, and I would like to take that away, but I would like to keep my bumps here. So to make everything work, I will go to the compositor, so I close this one, and then I go to compositing up here, and you might have exactly as I have, but instead of mask you should have a view, just in the beginning anyway. I will change that later on. And then you have the image editor here, and you should have render result here, so we have that in. And all I have to do now is put in the noise in here. So I press Shift A, and then I go to filter and put in the denoise. You can get a lot of more stuff in here to control the denoise by adding some checks on the pass and so on, the render pass before you do the rendering. But that is another story, and I will not cover that here. I will just show you a simple way to avoid stuff using the compositor. So right now everything looks nice here. But if we go down here, you can't see the bumps here anymore, so they are gone. However, if I use the image, the raw image, you can see the bumps here. So how do I do if I want the glass to be clear, but I would like the bumps to be here? Well, then I can just use both of these images. I can use the normal image, the noise image, or the image here, and then also the noise, and then mix it with the color. So I press Shift A, color, and a mix here. So we do it like that, and then I get the raw image in the top here, and I can then go through the denoise and put that in here. So we have it like that, and now everything is completely nice because we have this factor to 1, so everything is denoised. If I put this to like 0.8 or 0. Something like that, and then it do the compositing here, then you can see that I get the bumps back here, but you still have some noise here in that case, so it's not 100% effective to just use this manually. So the next step, and that is why I had a mask here, is to add a mask to this glass instead. So then it's just to select mask, and in the mask here, which is not that one, it's this one, you press new, and then you can just write glass like that, and then we know it's the glass mask. To create the mask, you just hold the control, and let's see, it will be the left mouse click. So then you can just click out a line that follows the glass here in a nice way. So just click it out like this. So you have it all the way up here, and then I can click it here. And if you want to connect the first and last one, then just press Alt and C, and then you have everything connected like that. So now you have a mask in here, a mask called glass, and that you can use for the factor here. Now we can go back to view, so we don't have to see the mask, but we can use it up here. So now I press Shift A, input, put in mask, and then I select my glass and put the mask out into the factor here. And when I do that, then you can see that it went to be really nice here in the glass where we have the mask. And still we have the noise, so to say, meaning the bumps here, which is exactly as we would like it to have. So we have cleared the glass and we have kept the bumps. And you can of course use the same method with several masks. So if you would like to have something else that should be masked away to do some denoise on, then it's just to do a new mask and call that another name and then combine it using a color mix. So now I'm pretty pleased with this, and the only thing to do more is that you can play with the levels of the color, and you can add white balance and so on. And you can do that in the compositing window here, but normally you do that outside using GIMP or Photoshop or something like that. So we can just save this image, save as, and I have one example here, brand new lantern, and I can reuse that, so save as image. And then I can go to GIMP. So here I have my GIMP, and now it's in Swedish, but I can translate it. So what I've used earlier is here, and here I have the brand new lantern, which is the one that we created right now. So this is the result. And here we have different things that I can use. So I can go in here and play with the levels of everything, so we get them straight to get more contrast or more white and so in this if we want to. I can also change, now I pressed, I didn't keep that value, but you can do that. And then in the colors here, you can go into auto and do some white balance, and then you get a more like a photo. So then you have everything good here, and it's just for you to save. And if I go in to like 100% so we can see it a little bit nicer here, then we can see we have the bumps here. It looks good with the bumps here. We have a smooth glass, some bumps up here and so on, and it looks nice. So it looks like the first step. And now we have our brand new. Next step will be to make it less brand new. So that I will do in the next session. And we will just do some, let's say that we have that thing, the lantern out for like a few days, a week or something like that. So we will not destroy it totally. It will just be some small marks that we add to it. So this is the first version, so to say. So you can save it and then we can go to the next one, so you can have a version of every way to the garbage can at the end if you want to. Okay, so see you in the next session, and I just say bye for now.